what I want to do here, I want to take some time to unpack the difference between mindfulness and meditation. And the reason why I have to do this is because I've been teaching mindfulness online for just over half a decade now. I think I've trained in excess of 30,000 people or something like this. Now, I don't say this to brag, all right? I don't say this to impress you, but rather to impress upon you that I kind of know the kind of criticisms that I've received and many of the main questions that get asked. So people who go on deep breathing exercise, weekends, all that sort of thing, go to meditate. Now, some people would use this word. I've never really used the word meditate, right? I don't meditate. I self-reflect, I contemplate, I self-evaluate. Right? These are just words that I use. Some people say meditate, and it might be the case that you do meditate, and that's okay, but I self-reflect. There might be a chance we're talking about the same thing. Who knows? All right. I view mindfulness as being the end destination, with meditation being the vehicle by which we get there. Makes sense? Right? So mindfulness is essentially our goal. This is where we want to get to, a place of mindful self-awareness. Meditation is the vehicle through which we get there. Meditation is the vehicle through which we stop, we evaluate what has our attention, where our attention's going, have we been distracted, all right, prior to stepping back into that place of mindful awareness. Right, so let us unpack this idea in a bit more depth. Introspection, meditation, reflection, right? What I want to propose is they're all kind of one of the same thing, right? Some people would disagree, but I would say that, if mindfulness is Rome, then all roads lead to Rome. All right, if you want to get to Rome, and Rome is mindful self-awareness, then introspection is going to get you there, meditation is going to get you there, as is self-reflection. All right, so let us not get hung up in words. All right, words can be the biggest barriers towards some people's learning. So, the term I'm going to use here, introspection. Let's look at the purpose of introspection. It's essentially to explore the territory within, all right? But I could replace this word here, introspection, with meditation. The purpose of meditation is to explore the territory within. Or I could replace that word meditation or introspection with reflection. The purpose of reflection is to explore the territory within. What's the territory within? It's what's going on or what's not going on inside of your mind. All right? It's about waking up to yourself, as I've mentioned. So we reflect, or we meditate, or we introspect to become familiar with the content and the processes within our minds. Right? We do this because these mind processes ultimately influence how it is that we experience life every single day, for better or for worse. Alrighty, so let's now take a bit of a deeper look at these two different words, meditating and meditation. Alright, so we can get to Rome through meditating, and we can get to Rome through meditation. Alright, so meditating will involve what some people would refer to as prayer. Others will meditate through fasting, which is essentially sacrificing perhaps food for clarity. Some people do this. I actually spent, the longest I ever fasted was 10 days, right? I fasted for 10 days, probably about a decade ago now, right? Now, some people would say, I couldn't possibly do that. But what I found is, the only way I could describe it was like the hungrier I became. Now, I was immersed in study. Back at the time, I was studying a number of the older religious scriptures and texts. I was studying theology. I was studying psychology at the time, and also various philosophy books. All right, so I was really immersed in the world of self-improvement, self-development. I was studying, the human behavior, the human mind, and when I kind of removed all food from my stomach, yes, I became hungry on a physical level, but then on another level, I became even hungrier for more insight and knowledge and awareness, if that made sense. If that even makes sense to you. If you haven't tried it, it's very, very hard to explain. But I found fasting was just a phenomenal experience. It really enabled me to become so heightened in self-awareness. Meditating is essentially about us doing something, all right? Be this prayer, some people like to go for a walk through the woods, some people meditate through reading, right? I actually find reading a great means through which to reflect. I'll sometimes pick up a book for an hour, and I might not get past the first couple of pages, or a couple of pages in whatever chapter I'm reading, and then, because a sentence kind of pops out that just resonates, and then poof, that's me. I'm distracted, not by anything else, but just I focus right in on the sentence, I reflect upon it, I introspect, I consider it, I contemplate, and don't get any further than 1 page or perhaps 2 pages. But I've just grown deeper level of insight within myself in some way, all right? So that's all. Many people refer to all of these modes as meditating. So I'm not undermining any. I'm just saying that some will naturally work more effectively for others, all right? So if you say, I'm a believer in prayer, fantastic, that's great. But others won't be. Others will be advocates of reading. Some will be advocates of Yoda, Yoda, not Master Yoda. Did I say Yoda? What I meant was yoga, not yogurt, yoga. All right, no right, no wrong, just many degrees of difference. All right, so that's different. That's what meditating is. Meditation is different. All right, meditation involves us just being. Meditating involves us doing something. Meditation is different because this involves us just simply being still. All right? It's not about us trying to empty the head of thought. It's just about us not thinking. It's about us just showing up. It's about us just being still. It is 100% possible to empty our heads of thought without doing anything, without us having to focus our attention on something else, all right, or through engaging in some form of exercise. It's 100% possible. Does it require discipline? Yes, it does. It requires us to strengthen and really exercise the wise part of our mind. So meditation is about us just being still in a place of peace within the body, within the spirit, and the soul. The soul, when I mention the word soul, I'm referring to the mind, right, where all conscious or unconscious thought occurs. Right? Is this making sense? It's quite basic stuff, but it is important at this stage that I differentiate between the two. All right. Reason being is because I've had complaints in the past. Kane Ramsey, you're bad because deep breathing is mindfulness. No, it's not. Deep breathing is a form of meditating. Meditating is not mindfulness. Mindfulness is Rome. Meditating might very well be a vehicle by which you get to Rome, but it is not Rome within itself. Does this make sense? I do hope I've cleared this up. So, when we get disciplined in exploring the possibilities that come from changing our mind about things, we automatically transform our present moment experience. All right? Changing our mind about things. We can change our mind about anything at any given moment in time because the mind is a wonderful thing. Sometimes some people, unfortunately, get so stuck or transfixed in autopilot, in a certain way of thinking, or a certain way of being, or a certain way of interpreting, or a certain way of perceiving, that they sometimes can't see the wood for the trees. And what I mean by this is they can't see the true nature of reality and what's actually going on around them, in other people, or even in the context of their own lives.